Call this meeting to order. Notice of this meeting is being held in accordance with Public Laws 1975, Chapter 231. An adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by a notice sent to the Star Ledger, the local source, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building and on the Township website. Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Carl Ostergaard Jr., Commander, American Legion, Post 228. Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our service members here and abroad. Thank you. Bless you. Madam Clerk.
Mayor Laufer,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser. Here. Committeeman Capides.
Here.
Committeeman Huber is absent. Committeeman Weber.
Here. Proclamations and announcements. Springfield 55-plus residence calendar is available for the month of March. It is a packed calendar, and they're doing a lot of really cool stuff. For the 6,000th time, if you are interested in serving on any boards or the Finance Review Committee, please send an email to residents-review@springfield-nj.us. Please, our community needs you, and your input is valuable. Please sign up, and you get to spend time with myself, Deputy Mayor Kaiser, and the rest of the fun bunch here on the dais. Celebrating America's 250th anniversary, Springfield Public Library Vault Reveal, Sunday, March 15th at 2 p.m. There's a lot of cool stuff in that vault, stuff dating back from like the 1700s. So it is definitely worth going to. Finally, bulk pickup on Wednesday, March 18th. Please have all items out by Tuesday evening. All right. Public comment on agenda items only. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah, come on up.
I didn't have a second to.
Yeah, come on up.
Are you guys discussing the clearing of the rails tonight? Is that on your agenda? I will. That is?
So,
Okay, all right.
Name and
Okay, all right.
name and address.
yeah, name and address.
Allison Miller, 1 Hemlock Terrace, Springfield Environmental Commission Chair. So, Rails to Trails has been something that's been a vision for so many years. And it's finally actually happening. It's been approved in Union and Summit. Springfield needs to connect it. All they're doing for this particular phase is removing the actual railroad tracks and getting rid of the creosote, which is a win for us. So we don't have to pay for disposal for contaminated materials. And it's a first step towards this Rails to Trails. Like I said, Springfield is holding up this process right now. It's approved in Kenilworth, in Union, and in Summit. We're the connection. All they want to do right now for this phase 1 is remove the railroad tracks and dispose of the debris. There absolutely shouldn't be any reason why Springfield doesn't get on board with this first step. So this is something I know you guys have had concerns about the 10 or 11 houses that may be affected ultimately in this project, but the thousands of people that will benefit from this project is the bigger picture. This is a safe, amazing project that's happening all across the country, and we need to be on board. This is something for our kids to do. This is something for our seniors to do. This is something that brings towns together. This is something that brings people into our town for shops and stuff. There is no downside. If anything, when these people bought those properties, they were worried about the railroad reacting. This ensures it will never be a railroad again. This is just a space for people to get through on their bicycles and running. There is no downside. This is an amazing project. And if you guys don't vote for it, I feel badly. So that's what I have to say on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment on agenda items only? All right, I am going to close public comment for agenda items only. Now we're on to reports. Mr. Basicolo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As everyone knows, obviously, we got whacked again with another snowstorm. The other night, DPW was out for 30-some hours trying to clean the town. They maintained passable roads for emergency services throughout the storm, despite receiving up to 3 inches per hour in blizzard conditions. Once the storm passed on Monday, they began making their final pass through the assigned zones. The town was completely open by 6 p.m. on Monday evening, just 5 hours after the storm officially ended. Some streets did not receive the final pass due to residents and contractors cleaning their driveways and cars. To avoid conflict, DPW returned at 2 a.m. this morning to complete those final streets. We were also out this morning cleaning public sidewalks, crosswalks, bus stops, school zones, et cetera. Lastly, the thing I want to touch on that's become an issue, we've discussed it before, is that we still have people, we still have apartment buildings and businesses plowing the street, plowing the snow from their lots into the street. This stops us from either plowing or it makes it look like we hadn't been there. So I think Committeeman Capides is going to discuss that at greater length.
Yeah, I would just like to, and thank you for allowing me to do so. I know that I've sent an email to the department heads earlier today, and I CC'd the mayor. Again, just to follow up with what John said, I applaud our police, fire department, first aid squad, DPW, for the insurmountable task that they had over the last couple days. This was a monumental, historic storm, and everybody did their job safely, efficiently, and diligently, hours at a time away from their own families for more than a day. But as Mr. Basicolo said, there is a growing problem where we have certain entities, and again, these entities hire these companies to do it, that is pushing the snow out into the street from lots or wherever else they may have to clear from. This is a problem. It creates a problem because it's A, public safety, it puts snow back on the streets, it makes streets impassable, it costs us more money because the DPW has to go back and completely plow those streets again, and to the residents' perspective, it does not look like streets are being plowed. And I know that we try to enforce it the best we can, but I think it's now time to really dig our heels in and double down. And I think over the next few weeks, hopefully we'll not have a storm again, but I'd like to talk to the attorney and my colleagues up here about looking at the ordinance, seeing what the fines are, seeing how we can uphold it, who we could hold responsible for monitoring this plowing of the snow into the streets during the storm. And I know that's an extra thing, and we don't want to put anybody in a greater danger than they are already plowing the streets under these conditions. But this is a serious problem that needs attention. And I believe we need to look at our ordinances to see if any language has to be updated, if the fine is substantial enough. And I'm also suggesting to go further for when we have all this codified, to actually send a letter to all of our business owners and property managers, alerting them of the ordinance, putting a copy in every one of their mailboxes, and knowing this is what's going to happen if you continue to do this. And then, when that is done, we need to figure out who, at the time that this unfortunate situation happens, we can get to report, document, and send a notice of violation to the offending parties when they do this with the snow.
May I just add, it's not just our businesses either. Residents can't plow their driveways out into the street either. So everybody needs to be aware that they cannot do this.
And that's tricky, because I know, as far as, I'll take me for example, there is a time where after you shovel the snow off the sidewalks and the driveways, you have to pull out your car and you have to take the snow off the car. We get that, and we hope that you be mindful of the snow that gets on the street and putting it back on the sidewalk. But on the other hand, and again, I know this is a lot going on, we have cars that are parked in the street while there's a storm going on. I cannot tell you how damaging that could be to your neighborhood, because the plows can't go curb to curb, the plows have to go around the car, and then once that happens, it narrows the street. So it makes it even harder for two cars to go down the same time. And it's all, and we're not trying to be difficult, we're not trying to be, we're not trying to like really pin it to anybody, but it is really a matter of public safety that we all need to do our part, and we all need to be aware of what's really going on, because it is really a tough job to do. Our DPW does a more than excellent job in plowing our streets, but it's the little things like the cars that remain in the streets and the snow that continually gets pushed back out into the street itself that make problems worse for everybody, from a public safety standpoint, from a traffic standpoint, from a financial standpoint, that it takes our DPW workers longer to be out there to do the job that they need to do right the first time. And it's just a monumental problem that I think we need to start taking a serious look at addressing a little bit more vigorously as these storms progress.
Completely agree. I did want to piggyback off of what Committeeman Capidy said and direct this question to Chief Cook. We recently just authorized OEM liaison officers. I think this could be a really good spot for them to plug in. Their job is to assist with emergency tasks. And as an added detail, I think this would be a really good spot for them to, police this, and on hurricanes and things like that. If we need cars off the road, I think that's a great project for our OEM officers who have police powers and operate during emergencies.
Can I comment?
Yeah, no, please.
The patrol guys on the road I'm not saying that's not a good idea. But I'm putting out to the patrol guys, they're the ones that are out there 24/7. So anything that is seen, they're the ones that would see it if it's actually happening or as it's happening, especially the commercial plows that take it from residential driveways and push it, even though they push it all the way across the street, it's still against the ordinance. So they're going to be advised that I want names taken, and then we can decide how we're going to deal with it. Or people blowing snow in the street, I want names taken, no discretion. I want to know about it, and that way, we're getting it live time as it happens.
And during a snow event like we had just now, officers are on the road, like they're out patrolling, right? Like it's not like one of those movies where there's no law for a period of 12 hours, right? I'm just checking.
That's the way I
They're
want it.
they're not just in the station, like they're out.
That's the way it should be. That's the way I want it, and I do follow up on that. During the big storms, the last couple of years back when we had power out for a week, the guys were all over town. We're one of the few towns that actually got hit with burglaries because all the alarm systems were out.
Yep.
They were out just driving around, just being a preventative, maintenance. If you come in looking to do bad things and you see they had their lights going as they're driving around. And that's did good for us. So they're out there looking to see if anybody's stranded anywhere to help. And they observe,
Yeah, and let us.
plowing and the snow blowing and all that.
And let us know what you need from us up here in terms of an ordinance change or anything like that, to enable your officers to do that job better, because it is harmful. And especially for cars that are on the road during
Absolutely.
an event like this, it inhibits the entire street from being plowed. So, I think.
I mean, we don't make friends.
No,
Telling people you
but
can't do that, but that's not what it's about. It's about what's good for everybody, not that particular person.
Yep.
And again, and Chief, I understand what you're saying about, being part of police, being part of the community, but in situations like this, as you understand, especially in situations like this, when we are in a state of emergency, all 21 counties in the state of New Jersey are under a blizzard advisory, and there's a state of emergency, like, we need to do, it's an emergency, and we need to act as such. And that's why I think, you know, Mayor Laufer is saying, police, fire, EMS, DPW, they're the eyes and ears out there. You know, they're doing a hell of a job for us, you know, during this storm, but they're also the eyes and ears out there. They're the ones that can see, you know, what cars aren't parked where they're supposed to be, what entities are pushing snow on the roads. And we're trying to hopefully use that information and in the collective, as you're out there, you know, protecting and serving, to come up with a scenario by which we can identify and properly address the cars and the services that are doing safe things during a storm.
For the
I
record.
mean, in the past, we've gone as far as I know there's a particular one I'm thinking of, couldn't prove who did it, but technology with Ring doorbells, the neighbors were more than happy to let us see their video, and we're able to see who was doing it, and they were dealt with, and that was the last time that happened. But, you know, we go out of our way to make sure we can uphold the ordinance, that's for sure.
For the record, that movie was called The Purge.
Okay? I would just want to touch back on bulk. I was going to ask our public information officer to put out not only the date, but the requirements, what's allowed to be put out, the size, et cetera, so we don't have somebody saying, I didn't know. So let's make sure we get together shortly and get that done. I want to talk quickly about Oakland Park. I've contacted 3 companies that are in the, under state contract that we can use. We contacted Ben Schaefer, we contacted a company that Mayor Harris gave me, which is Play World Park, and we contacted MRC. They're doing drawings for us with recommendations and pricing. Probably by around the middle of next month, we should have numbers and drawings back to start picking and choosing from. I will keep you in the loop.
Just a quick moment on that. Are we going to be bringing in the business improvement district for the facade portion of that? Is that part of that plan or
The
no?
what portion
The facade
of what?
It's a park.
of the park, yeah, so the park is being done, and at the same time, the facade should be done at the same time.
What facade?
The facade, the streets. Are we talking about?
The streetscape.
Yeah, the
Yes.
Is going to do that.
Sorry, did I say facade? My
Yes.
apologies, I was just reading the words.
Times.
Sorry about that, streetscape, apologies. For the streetscape, are we going to be, we'll be meeting with that together, because we have to plan, okay.
We will coordinate.
Okay.
Also, we did discuss briefly about the white building on the corner of Mountain and Mars. I do have somebody that's going to take a look at that for us and see what that building is appraised at, so I'll get that for you shortly, next couple of weeks, hopefully.
Sounds good.
We'll touch on that. I did want to also mention, we're still working on Duffy's Lot. The permit fee was, I believe, sent over, and the final drawings and details, permit plans, and reports should be ready within 2 weeks. So we're going to continue to go forward to see if we can get the okay to start working on that lot and hopefully do away with the flooding. So we're still working on that. As Ms. Miller pointed out, I did have a conversation, and I know I spoke to the 5 of you at the committee about removing the tracks. I don't know if they've got everything done. They're trying to secure agreements still with NJDOT. So I don't think anything's happening very quickly. You know, DOT doesn't move that fast. I know that, I believe we did an approval at one point, I thought.
We approved a resolution.
Right, so I don't know if we need to do anything else at this point. I would ask maybe,
Jay Robina runs Rails to Trails for the county.
all right, but this is, I got Stephen Dunn is calling me.
Okay.
All right, so
Ask Stephen if,
I'll find out what he needs. I don't know if he needs anything further from us, but I will find out.
I think everybody is generally in favor.
Everybody was. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all in favor of pulling them out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think we're all generally in favor. I do think, hearing from the county, I do think they have some hiccups along the pathway. So it's clearly, this is a very, very initial step of a long-term project, but I think we're in favor.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Caldwell real quick. I want to touch on the culvert at Caldwell. That was supposed to be done by December of this past year. The utility work that was being done held them up. They're going to start the culvert, they're looking to start at the end of this month, and it would go all the way until July. We've discussed this with the county, the contractor we've met with on site. It is causing an issue because Ruby Field, we need that for the high school for baseball. So at this point, we don't have any resolution really yet. We should in the next, once the weather gets a little better, I'm sure they're not going to be out there tomorrow doing any work. But we're going to have to address how we're going to handle this. So, anybody has any questions or comments?
I got a few. Jay, when you put out the list for bulk and everything else, I get a lot of questions about appliances, what's available, or what can be taken, what cannot be taken. Be specific with that one, because I do think some things can be dropped off, like microwaves, I thought can go to the recycling center.
Committeeman Weber, we'll take the metals and we'll scrap
right?
it.
Yeah, I have a lot of
So
people-
I got to get with Robbie to find out what his plan is on that, but I know he does do that.
That's what I figured, because I know we actually make some money off of it. So I guess be specific on that, and I guess it would be a battle then between us and the junk guys. Is who's going to get to it first. That's one. Number two, Caldwell. I'm just going to tell you right now, not in favor of it. They can wait. I am not in favor of messing up an entire baseball season because they couldn't get their scheduling right. If there's a way to push them off or hold them back, I would prefer to hold them back until after the season's done.
100%.
Because at this point right now, with them cutting off Caldwell, there is absolutely no way except to go up Trivet for them, or to cut through a parking lot for them to access it. So, I am not in favor of that one.
We met out there the other day with the contract and everything, and to be honest with you, there is no way from Mountain Avenue to get into it. You can't go through the parking lot because the culvert is going to extend, taking out the sidewalks on both sides. That's how wide it is. So you can't walk around it. We actually, as crazy as this might sound, we actually looked at jumping the creek. Could we put a bridge over the creek? We don't have anything long enough that could go over the creek, A, and B, it'd be on private property on the office building that's on the corner. So I'm sure that's not going to be well received if we go to that owner and say, we want to have everybody tramping over your property.
Well,
So-
I'm only one of five. My vote is if you can fight this thing and make this thing hold off, that's my vote on
It
it.
has to get held off. We just,
So,
I don't see any way we can get around doing it right now. It just doesn't work.
and just to give a little more clarification on the Morris Ave building, so what John is talking about, what our BA is talking about is the building on the corner of Morris and Mountain. That is the old bank building. I mean, that thing's been
Salon 25.
lawn, it's been a lot of stuff, right? All five of us have decided that we were in favor of presenting the business, the landowner an offer to purchase it or make a move at that point to actually take it. So that is what's happening with that. There's not a whole lot more details to give, but that is what we're looking for on the corner of Mountain and Morris.
And just a side note, anything with a plug on it, you can drop off up at the pool, the recycling.
Anything with a plug.
Anything with a plug.
All right.
There you go.
Makes it pretty easy.
Can I add a comment to the Caldwell issue?
Chief?
Yeah, I completely agree that this is, if they insist on going through with it, it's going to create unnecessary risks because the kids are going to find a way to get there. They're not going to, we were all kids, some of us sooner than others, but Yeah, I would certainly, if it was me, I would go through the creek or whatever to get where I needed to go. And it's a total safety concern as far as my concerns are. Plus, creating increased traffic or parked cars on some of the ancillary streets there. Whether there's parking allowed or not, I see it all the time over by the rec center. Cars parking illegally because they want to watch. They don't really pay attention to the no parking signs. And you got a lot of kids, now you got more cars and more traffic going through, and just the slight possibility of a kid popping out from between a car. I
Yeah.
back you with that, so.
We got a lot of kids that walk down Caldwell going to school.
Right.
So they're not going to be able to
Can't get there.
They can't get there from there. So it's a disaster.
Listen, when it comes to a project of that size, I don't know if there is an ideal time. But if there was an ideal time,
Not during the baseball season.
not during the baseball season.
And just, I got to look back, but I was speaking to Mr. Betcher before we came, and we both remember, we were out there probably maybe 3 years ago discussing this. So this project has been on the planning board or approved for several years. So I don't see why if we don't do it in May and we got to wait, we don't do it now, we got to do it in May. I don't see that it should be that big a deal.
I mean, this was supposed to be done by December.
Yes, it was.
Which would have been the right time for it.
We wouldn't have,
Which would have been the right time for it. But yeah, no, I think everybody shares.
on to the
Safety
next thing.
concerns.
Lauren, you have a moment, please? Would you step up and,
Give
so
a
we can put
department
the
head
hot lights
report.
on you and
Yeah.
grill you? I think everybody knows Lauren, she's our tax collector.
Tell us how much money we have.
99%.
Hey,
Our collection rate is 99.49% as of the end of 2025. And that includes a year-end penalty that I had to put on as of December 31st, so that doesn't give me time to collect it. With that being said, I have my January report. We collected 5.6 million. My delinquents for February were at 268. We've collected half of that already. And we're still collecting some 2025 taxes. We have about, not including tax court judgments, I think there was about 452,000 of that still to be collected, not including tax court judgments. Those go back for prior years, and they have 60 days to pay on those, so those always get paid. Total online payments, which is now becoming a popular way for payment other than mortgage payments. We had 285 of those in January, but we've had 1,000 of them in in February, so that is becoming one of the most popular ways for people to pay their taxes. Interest, we collected about 4,000. Currently, we have 6 liens, outside liens, not municipal liens, and we had 2 redeemed, so we're down to 5 liens that were sold in 2025.
nice.
Any questions?
Any questions?
No questions, just a comment. I know that many of you may not recognize Lauren because she's a person that's always behind the scenes, but I do need to tell you that she's a rock star and her breadth of knowledge is absolutely incredible. I know that there was a certain time during a couple years ago, we spent almost every day on the phone talking about the state of our town and our tax situation. And you are just phenomenal. We appreciate you coming here today, and thank you for everything you do for us. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Why is it so low at 99.46?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
I thought your comment, Committeeman
People forget.
Kaplan,
A lot
was
of
going to
people
be, we
forget to
didn't
pay.
recognize her because her hair was lighter, but that's the sun.
I didn't want to do that because I wasn't sure how it was going to go.
I helped you out.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. All right. Moving on to Alex's second favorite part of the meeting. Approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to get caught up on the regular meeting minutes of January 13th, 2026, and the executive meeting minutes of Session A and Session B of January 13th, 2026, as emailed.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving right along. New business, there is no ordinances on second reading, but on first reading, we have ordinance 2026-03. Madam Clerk.
Okay, ordinance 2026-03. This ordinance repeals section 35-86, development fee regulations, and to repeal and replace section 35-34, affordable housing, of chapter 35, land use of the municipal code of the township to address requirements of the Fair Housing Act, FHA, as amended, and the Uniform Housing Affordability Controls, UHAC, as amended, regarding compliance with the township's affordable housing obligations.
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval on first reading, ordinance 2026-03, as read by Madam Clerk, publicized in the local source February 26, 2026, with final hearing on March 10th.
I will second.
Discussion.
Greg, there's a lot happened on this thing. Do we get clarification on
Yes.
what's changed with this one?
This is.
Hold on.
So this ordinance is it's doing a couple things. It's consolidating the development fee. We had a separate development fee ordinance. It's consolidating the development fee ordinance with the affordable housing components of the township code. So they're just being combined. And it's basically implementing the consent order that was reached between the township and Fair Share Housing as part of the fourth round obligations. The changes are minute in detail, and they're comprehensive. This was prepared on the township's behalf by our Affordable Housing Council and with our planner, and these are comprehensive, consistent with the regulations, the statutes, consistent with the consent order that was entered into and approved by the court and required in accordance with that consent order. So that's and there's a companion ordinance to follow, which relates to the overlay zones and some of the other zoning-related issues.
Okay. Any other input from up here? All right. Let's go to a vote.
Committeeman Capides?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Laufer?
Yes.
Ordinance 2026-04. This ordinance amends Section 35-17 overlay zones and mandatory set-aside ordinance of Article 5 district regulations of Chapter 35 land use of the Code of the Township, Chapter 35 land use regulations to effectuate the fourth round housing element and fair share plan of the township as amended and enacted pursuant to court order by the Township Committee of the Township of Springfield, County of Union, State of New Jersey.
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval on first reading, ordinance 2026, read by Madam Clerk, for publication in the local source February 26, 2026, with final hearing on March 10th, 2026.
Second.
Discussion. Craig, before Chris Weber asks.
As I mentioned, there was a companion ordinance. This is the companion ordinance. So this lists all the development regulations for the overlay zones associated with the new affordable housing fourth round obligations. In some ways, a little bit easier to read because you can see here in the black line where the new and where the deleted provisions are. Primarily, it's new provisions, and this is what new development and developers will have to follow in all of the new overlay zones. A variety of changes and requirements on bulk requirements, et cetera.
Any further discussion?
No, this one's much clearer than the other one. This one is not 40 pages long and much clearer.
All right. Madam Clerk.
Committeeman Capides?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Laufer?
Yes. All right, we're moving on to resolutions. If you would like one pulled, please say so. Resolution 2026-80, 2026-81, 2026-82, 2026-83,
Pull.
okay, 2026-84, 2026-85, 2026-86.
I will make a motion to adopt the following resolutions by consent agenda. Resolution 2026-80 through Resolution 2026-82, and Resolution 2026-84 through Resolution 2026-86.
I second.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Committeeman Capides.
Yes.
Committeeman Weber.
Yes.
Mayor Laufer.
Yes.
Okay, Resolution 2026-83. This resolution authorizes a license agreement with NMBC Moving Solutions to utilize certain township parking facilities on a temporary basis.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-83 as read by Madam Clerk.
Second.
Can I get clarity on, what do they park in there? What's happening there?
One truck that we've did this last year for a year, it ran out. This is a renewal of the previous agreement.
Moving truck? Or
Yeah.
Moving truck. Not gonna wake anybody up. It's
I was parked in the pool parking lot.
parked on the back side of it, right? Not in by the houses over there.
No, it's actually parked down past the commuters
Okay,
on that side.
okay. Just one truck parked in the back.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Committeeman Capides.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Committeeman Weber.
Yes.
Mayor Laufer.
Yes. We have no discussion and action items. Now on to Deputy Mayor Kaiser's favorite part of the meeting.
I'll make a motion to I'll make a motion to adopt payroll and invoices for the period of February 11, 2026 through February 24, 2026 in the amount of $10,432,459.89.
I second.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Committeeman Capides.
Yes.
Committeeman Weber.
Yes.
Mayor Laufer.
Yes. We have correspondence, Westfield Ordinance 2026-03, designating 625 Westfield Ave as historic landmark. Public hearing March 10th at 8 p.m. Union, notice of public hearing, Planning Board, February 26th, 7:30, amendment to the Township's master plan. Milburn Zoning Board hearing, March 2nd, 7 p.m. Applicant is 521 Milburn Avenue for a variance. And now we're moving on to public comment on any governmental issue. The floor is now open.
Eat.
Allison Miller, 1 Hemlock Terrace, Environmental Commission related also. So we removed quite a number of ash trees over at Ruby Field and all around town. As we all know, we are a flood zone, and I want to know when we're planning on replanting those giant trees that were removed. There have been no efforts to replant them. There has been no efforts to replant a lot of trees that have been taken down around town. And as somebody who actually lives in the flood zone and who has survived 2 major floods, I would like to know what the Township Committee and the town is doing to replace so many of these trees that have been taken down.
I will get you a number of trees that have been planted, because I know we have replanted a bunch of trees.
Not in Ruby Field.
No, not in Ruby Field.
They clear cut it. They removed all those adult trees.
Again,
Ally, if you want to
Right.
come up.
that was a
have the
safety issue.
conversation.
If we didn't remove them and somebody got hurt, we would be responsible. They were, all had the emerald ash borer, so they had to go.
Well, they didn't actually, but they were afraid they were coming. So it was preemptive.
Well,
The issue that I have with planting anything in Ruby right now is that's a decent-sized piece of land back there. And I do believe we have something for the community that it can be used for. I don't know what. I don't know if anybody else up here has any ideas about, but that's a big piece of property back there.
There's something to be said for open spaces. There's something
Agreed.
to be said about the charm of a town having beautiful trees line, our roads, and having actual little forests and trees in town. Overdevelopment is not something everybody wants.
That's actually a great idea right there, some kind of walk through, some kind of tree.
Well, I did recommend a tiny forest in that
something like
area.
that. Yeah, I just, me personally.
In space, not only do trees absorb water, they clean our air. It's, pollution is a problem everywhere. So it environmentally speaking, it'll absorb water and give us fresh air to breathe. So, we've been tackling the idlers one by one. But this is something needs to be remain open space or more trees.
I seem to remember when we talked about refurbishing Ruby Field, and we made all those improvements. We talked about that area, and a lot of ideas came up at the time. I think we at the time spoke about like a community garden area, but it is a unique space in more ways than one, because you can't really access that space without walking onto the field to get there. So I don't think it's not that we haven't been dismissing ideas. I think we've been just trying to figure out what's the best use for that space. Because of the uniqueness of where it is and how to access it, it's been an evolving conversation.
I think developing that space would be a mistake. I think keeping it as a green space is what it's meant to be. Again, we have so few in Springfield, let's protect the ones we have.
I mean, in terms of developing, if there's no access to it without going into the field, you can't really like put housing there or anything like that. So I mean, in terms of like developing it, I think our options are extremely limited.
Yeah, but adding any kind of
So-
impervious surface
Sure.
would be a problem. So, you want to put blacktop on there or concrete?
No,
right?
I'm not
And
advocating for
build,
that. but-
I'm just saying, there needs to be more trees there, because they were taken away, and it's adding to the flooding. And, it needs to be a green space. So, I'm just praying you guys don't turn it into a pickleball field, or another soccer field, let's keep our green spaces green.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Betcher will supply a report to you tomorrow on how many trees have been planted, because we do plant trees every year.
I get the reports sometimes. It's not nearly as many, I get the reports sometimes. It's not nearly as many trees that are being taken down that are being planted. It's not even close.
But you have to realize there's a lot of trees that we don't take down just to take them down.
I understand. I know they're a hazard. They're dangerous.
They're diseased. And a lot of them are on private property also that people are taking down. They have to get a permit for, and if they take so much down, they have to replace.
But we're not replacing them is the problem. Not even close to the rate that they're being taken down.
Mr. Betcher will send you some info tomorrow.
All right. Sorry. I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees.
The tree whisperer.
On that excellent Dr. Seuss reference, are there any other members of the public for comment? Seeing there are none, can we move to adjourn?
Before we adjourn.
I have
Oh, does it?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up to the committee, I know that we've talked about it on an individual basis, but I didn't bring it up as part of a meeting. I know many of us talked about, over the course of the year, the employee manual, the employee handbook, it has many names, and we always talked about updating it because it does need another look. As part of the administration committee, I've been talking to Deputy Mayor Kaiser about it. I know we wanted to look at several sections of it, including one about performance evaluation. So with your blessing and permission, I'd like to form an ad hoc committee with the deputy mayor to review the performance evaluation portion along with the manual itself, maybe with Mr. Basicolo and maybe a couple of employees. Take a look at it. I know it's a monster of a handbook, but if there's anything that we could see that might need some updating or some tweaking, or through the passage of time, things are irrelevant, of course, with the attorneys advising us on
think that's a great idea.
Voice vote?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to move to form the committee?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to form an ad hoc committee to review the personnel manual, and have it be disbanded once it's been finalized and approved by the Township Committee.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion Capidy, second Weber. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Through Mayor and Jay, you're working together on the 250
Yes.
anniversary thing. Can I make a suggestion that we do a time capsule? I know there is one out front already. I forget what date that's supposed to be opened up.
Yeah.
But if we can organize a time capsule and put that together, that would be very, very cool for this 250th anniversary year. Something that none of us will ever open up, but we can definitely contribute to it, and could be pretty awesome.
Modern medicine and high levels of income.
iPhone.
Yep.
Might be around to open it up.
Tax
Who
bill,
knows?
just make sure it's low. Yeah, no, Deputy Mayor, I think that's an excellent idea. Jay will connect on it.
We could do a little ceremony.
Yeah, we should definitely do a ceremony on it.
Schools and-
Anybody else? Before we adjourn, I want to thank the DPW and first responders one more time. Fire, police, EMS. Thank you, OEM. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey.
Aye. We got one nay. We are adjourned.